And of course, the collectors, a lot of the techniques they use require secrecy in order for them to gather that information. How much does the secrecy required for legitimate intelligence activities undermine our ability to get a straight answer out of intelligence agencies?
Well, I think secret government or covert government, you know, this sort of arm of our government that does covert activities and the arm of the government that operates under a veil of classification, it's almost by definition stupid government, because it doesn't take a great appreciation about the virtues of democratic debate and open debate to say, well, if you have no debate about it, you're not going to have meaningful oversight. You're not going to have a requirement for the advocates of policies to stand up and defend their positions in public. And in long term, not in every case, but in general, that's going to lead to dumber, more ill-considered policies. Just as if you make all your decisions in life about things that are complicated and difficult without consulting anyone who knows something about it, you're liable to make dumber decisions. I mean, giving a secret oversight where Congress or an elite select group of congressmen and senators can see national security documents or estimates in a special room and get briefed in that way, secret oversight is kind of an oxymoron, because if you can't, the tools that senators and congressmen have involve inflaming public opinion. They can't really do their jobs to oppose policies if they can't make noise about it in public. That's the basic logic of democratic politics. So, and if they can't do that, then the administration doesn't have to come before Congress or who's ever advocating something and say, here's why this is a good idea, or here's why we're afraid of this thing. And then their views don't get evaluated, they don't get checked. So secrecy undoes the checks and balances that are sort of the wisdom of our constitutional government, I think.
And the founders of our government recognize that executives tend to be a little over-aggressive in terms of war. How has Congress done to check that ability?
Badly. Yeah,
tendency.
Yeah, Congress's willingness to oversee the national security state, particularly war and peace, has, I think, consistently declined since World War II. I mean, during the Cold War, you had a tremendous amount of discretion handed over to the executive branch. And the reasons for that, I think, are complex. Some of it has to do with the emergency that occurred in the Cold War and how some changes we made as a result of that maybe made sense for a crisis or for a particular moment stuck around, because that's the nature of laws and politics, is that the conditions that cause things, or the conditions, laws caused by particular conditions outlast those conditions. But I think also it has to do with our power. And the growth of U.S. power has made the consequences of dumb foreign policies remote, and the ability to exercise power all over the world, as we did in the Cold War, built up this national security apparatus, which has its tentacles in lots of different districts around the United States. We have bases and production facilities or contracted labor to make helicopters or aircraft or what have you. And so the sort of the benefits of our national security policy have been concentrated in these areas, and the costs, because we're so powerful, become more diffuse, where you know, we all pay a few more dollars, taxes, voluntary military fights the wars, but we don't really feel the impact. We don't really feel the costs. So there's sort of this imbalance of interest, which I think creates this situation where Congress lets the executive run amok.